Thank you. We appreciate it. Thank you. Welcome back to Beers, Bikes, and Barbells. I am Big Bob.
Did you say it right?
I did.
No, did you say beers, bikes, and barbells? It's okay. It's perfect. I love it. Listen, this name has been giving us fits.
I'm tired of this fucking.
We love it, but we love it. We went through so many names to get to this one, but it's the three B's.
It's the three B's.
Remember, it's the priority is the bikes. Barbells number 2, beer number 3. Yeah. You can't put beer first; it makes us look like alcoholics.
I turn my mind is it's Sunday, so
it's time for beer.
How's it going?
Oh, I'm good, brother. You?
Good. I'm right here, as busy as hell. You know how we do it. Always.
Oh, baby.
Always doing something.
That's what I'm all about it. Do more, baby. Yeah. Do more.
I have anxiety when things are busy, and I have anxiety when things are not busy. My anxiety when things are not busy is worse than my anxiety when things are busy.
Brother, check this out. So I totally agree with you. As I've gotten to know myself, I'm 50 years old. Mm-hmm. As I've gotten to know myself, I realize this. I'm going to worry. This is the way I break it in my head. I'm going to worry every day. Let's call it I have 100 units of worrying per day. And I'm going to use them all.
Right.
For sure. I won't leave any units unworried. So the goal is to attach my worries to things that I can actually help and make better. Because when you worry about things that you can't help, it's very non-productive and it promotes anxiety.
And that's what you stick on. It's like a leech. That's what you
Yes. Get. So, okay, that's just me. I'm a busybody. I'm called anxious, you know. Well, when I attach that to shit that I can actually affect and make better in my life, it's a calming effect.
Right.
But when I'm anxious and I don't have something to attach that, when my units of worry just drift away, it's very stressful. But when my units of worry get attached to something that's productive, it totally calms me.
I don't like when things are good. I know that sounds terrible. That's probably the way to think. But when things are going too good, smooth, I'm like, all I'm thinking about is this ain't right. Something's gonna happen.
Well, you know, on that level,
not to a point.
Well, totally. But think about this. In many cases, security or being comfortable becomes a person's worst enemy because when they're secure or comfortable, they're not striving. When you're uncomfortable, when you're anxious, you're worried, whatever you want to call it, when you're uncomfortable, you're willing to do things you wouldn't do when you're comfortable. Think about it.
Yeah.
I mean, when something happens and it freaks you out, you're not thinking, can I do that? You're thinking, I'm going to get this done.
Yeah, it's funny you said that because the subject we were talking about earlier with this whole place and what we do, naturally, I think someone would have been bummed out and sad. Like, wow, did that just happen? But that lit a fire under my ass so hard and so big. I told my wife, okay, who am I? Now who am
That's
I?
it.
Now it's not just, there you go, it's okay. What do I really have? Do people really love us? Do people really want to support us? Do people want to help? What do I have? So I'm like, I got this. Let's do this. It's time to kick ass.
That's it. Little being uncomfortable, you know, and that's one thing I pride myself on is that I'm a problem solver. That's probably one of my biggest attributes as a human being. You know, I was whopping learning disability, still got dyslexia. You know,
still to this day.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
Well, I mean, I think it's proven that we all have it a little bit. Some of us just have more than others.
First of all, that's what is that exactly?
Dyslexia. So
before I act like I know exactly what I'm talking about. Hey, I'm honest.
So,
right? I'm not gonna...
so dyslexia is like it comes out in a lot of ways, but for me, I'll see say that I'm looking at a word. The two letters, like if I look at the word was,
okay,
W-A-S, I might see S-A-W.
Okay, I follow you. Okay.
Yeah. And when I was a kid, it was hell learning to read like that. Jesus Christ. And this is the days where they didn't have, oh, he's got this problem. Let's put him over here and fix this problem.
Right.
They sent you to what they called the resource room, which was known to the rest of the student body as the retard room.
Is that K-13?
So I'm telling you, man. And that's in those days, it was a big room, and they just kind of divide. Okay, the ones that were slowest were on one side. Thank God I was towards the side that was, the better part of the slow room.
Right.
Because on the far side, that was the Down syndrome kids. I was in there,
I wonder, man, I wonder how messed up that'd be if you were in that side of the room and nothing's wrong with you, right? You just have this small disability, but do you become not sick, but your disability would be so much greater because your learning window would be so.
What happened with me is that my reading level was really low. That was where I really was suffering. And so in those days, they just put you in this room to catch you up. And they identified my reading was slow, so I had to catch up on my reading. But to get out of those, I remember going into junior high, and I told my mom, get me out of that resource deal. Just I'll find a way to make it in the normal classes. I'll work harder. I'll do what I got to do. I just wanted a fair shot to get back into the normal flow. But either way, talking about this is what we're talking about here. This was actually my biggest fucking blessing, because this is what taught when I got put back into the normal population, and I was never there in that resource room or the retard room the whole day. It was the back half of the day, so I got to be with the normal kids before lunch. Okay, but there's no question that I had learning disabilities, and so. When I got put back into the regular classes full time, I had to work so hard, double hard, just to be average.
Right.
And that's what became that for me. Working hard like that became habit. I didn't have any other choice. If I wanted to survive and keep grades and stay in school and not go back into that resource setting or retard setting, as the rest of the kids called it. Which was brutal, by the way.
That's a jacked up word, right?
You couldn't even say it. You couldn't even say it now.
No,
you'd be in big trouble for saying it now. So forgive me if I offended anybody by telling my story.
You're using it. Yeah, you're not using it in any way to at somebody.
No, hell no.
For yourself. But even like now, as you get older, like I'll be like, oh, that was retarded. I'll be like, well, it probably wasn't the best choice of word.
No,
just in general,
totally.
I think it's a maturity thing, but like
totally,
it's like you do realize like sometimes, as a kid, whatever you say, it's like you don't like, dude, quit acting gay. I'm not saying you're gay, and that's the problem with today. Like, if I said that somewhere, I'd be like, well, I'm like, no, I don't mean like that. I mean, acting stupid. Like,
I got a buddy who's gay, cool cat.
Oh yeah,
really,
I got
really, and I got a handful of them. But this guy is the coolest of all. He just totally gets it. He doesn't care. But I don't know what it is. Every time I'm around him, and forgive me when I say this word, I just can't stay. And I consciously try not to, but something will happen. And I'll say the word faggot. I'm like, God damn it. With all the times you're going to say that word, it's in front of somebody. It's a friend of mine that I like, a friend of mine I love. I love a good friend. You're like, God, there's just something about when you're not supposed to say something, it just finds its way come out.
I don't know. I can't respond to that.
So I was really joining your party, It's like, God, how did I just say that?
John's a jerk. That's what we just learned. So. No, what you mean. But even like you're just more aware of what your surroundings, what to say, how to speak.
Yeah,
did not come out. Yeah, and it's just like I don't know. Like even my kids, I'm like, dude, did I just say that? Like, no, I probably shouldn't say that.
I mean, I think we've all put our foot in our mouth.
Right.
It's just part of life.
Yeah, exactly.
Obviously, and owning it. If it's necessary to make some apologies, to do that too.
Right.
It's a mistake. We all make mistakes.
But you. I know we were going off subject, but I think that's okay.
It's kind of led us right back to a certain extent.
But I don't think we were going to talk about what we're going to talk about. We'll save it. So, but you said something when you were in school, when you went back to normal population, whatever. You said you had to work double. Do you think you kept that throughout your life? Because you're still going hard.
Guaranteed that. And I'll tell you right now, if the biggest problems or the biggest things that you perceive that are troublesome for you. They are your biggest blessings. You just haven't connected the dots yet. I'm telling you right now, everything in my life that seemed like, oh my God, this is like the worst thing ever.
Right.
It ended up being the biggest blessing. So this, hands down, because I had to work twice as hard.
Right.
Just to be average. Well, you set that habit. You learn to it becomes normal working that hard. Well, and then pretty soon you don't even feel right unless you're working that hard.
I don't know why, but for some reason, when you said you had to work twice hard to be average, not great, not better.
Yeah.
I don't know why. that just sounds so like it hits hard. Like
no,
I'm doing my best just to be with everyone else.
That right there sums up John Anderson's life from probably till in the late teens. I mean, I was the guy that was busting my ass just to be on the field. I just wanted to play.
Right.
I had no aspirations of being one of the greats. I mean, I of course I had dreams about that stuff,
Right.
but the realistic part of me realized, okay, you know, you're coming to school early, running before school, so that you can be good enough to practice with these kids.
Right.
And so that's what I had to do, just to keep my head above water. So it was really a survival mechanism.
Right. Right.
It wasn't me trying to be that much bigger and better. Well, what ended up happening, just like you said, is that habit continued into my life. And then once I actually matured and became a young man, so I was a really late bloomer. So late bloomer on top of the learning disability, you know, so it was like I had it on both sides of the fence. I was a little slow in the head, and I didn't get hair on my nuts till I was like full-blown 17. No, that's the truth.
Yeah.
No, I mean, think about this. We're gonna have some fun here. Freshman football, right? These are back in the days when this is back in the days when the coaches would say everybody has to take a shower. You got to do extra running tomorrow. If a coach said that now, he'd get sued.
Right. Right.
You know?
That's so great, God.
But, so we're talking, you know, everybody's in. We're talking the freshman team, the JV team, the varsity team. There's 150 kids pouring in the shower.
Yeah.
It's the first day of football. And I'm sitting there going, please tell me that there's somebody else that didn't grow hair in their nuts this summer. And unfortunately, I was the only one.
You were special in all kinds of ways.
All kinds of ways, you know? And so between being a late bloomer, I mean, I just wasn't, I was, you know, I was porky. I was not, I hadn't blossomed. I hadn't hit puberty yet. And so I was still, you know, I still had the body of an 11-year-old. And I'm in, you know, high school.
Right. Were you short? I mean, because you're about, what, 5'11", 5'10"?
Yeah, about 5'11". I was a little taller prior to the back surgery, but that's
Took an inch off.
the days of the strong man, you know, picking up, walking with 1,000-pound, it compresses your spine. But anyway, yeah, so it was the fact that it was learning disability. I was behind the curve with development, so everything I was working harder. I was working hard learning to try to keep up with schoolwork. I was working extra hard so I could try to actually be able to compete. When I say compete, just be able to play.
Right. Right.
You know, I mean, it's no fun to go to practice and not get on the field, and I did a lot of that at different points.
Wow.
So ultimately that habit, I was literally working twice as hard just to stay par.
But you never gave up.
No,
Because you said even if you were on the field, you still gave it your all. You still, because you wanted to play.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there was times, I remember there was a time where it was the team that, like, you know, have the clash of the Titans, the two teams that don't get along. And what I did was, as a freshman, I learned how to do a long snap with the ball.
Nice.
So
Okay.
I could hike the ball back to the punter. So I had a place on the field when we were punting.
Okay.
Which I was on the field.
Right. Or field goals? Field goals too, or just punting?
Just punting.
Really?
Yeah. For some reason, I don't know why I didn't have that other position, but either
We
way.
have so much in common. I'm a late bloomer as well. I couldn't grow a beard until probably I'm 42, maybe my early mid 30s,
No shit.
and then I was the long snapper. I actually got letters for UNLV, some out here, because that's how I was actually like. They wanted me just for long snapping.
No shit.
I was like, wow, that's a thing.
Well, let me tell you why.
wasn't
Let me
worried
tell
about
you
it.
why nobody wanted me to long snap. Because the guy that's supposed to snap the ball, he snaps the ball, and he's supposed to be down the field,
Right.
ready to try to tackle the ball carrier. Well, I would snap the ball, and I was just easy prey. I was clearly recognized as the guy that was on the field just to snap the ball.
Right.
And so, you'd have these other, defensemen, or actually would have been, they'd have been defense turning into offense. And they would literally, because you got your head between your legs trying to get that ball back there. Yeah. So you're not really in a place to defend yourself. As soon as you let go of the ball, you're open territory.
Right.
Somebody, bam, crack me, and I'd be on the ground. I remember a couple of times, these dudes, I would try to get up, and every time I'd try to get up, they'd knock me back to the ground. So I was held back midfield and just getting knocked on my ass every time I try to stand up. But you can't not try to stand up.
Right.
You have to try to stand up every time.
It's worse if you just lay there.
But you know you're going to get, if you lay there, then you quit.
Yeah.
Because they'll tell you, there's a difference. The difference between the guy that continues to try and the guy that quits, huge difference.
Yeah.
You can't even compare those two.
Right.
So anyway, that's why nobody wanted me for a long snapper. but yeah, but ultimately, you're very correct. I was working twice as hard, just trying to be average, just trying to be par.
Right.
And sometimes I wasn't par, but I was still working just as hard.
You still showed up.
Yeah. And then once I finally went through puberty, everything changed. I mean, literally, it was like one summer. I went up, in, and all of a sudden, holy shit, I'm getting really strong.
You got the holy shit to 17.
I got the holy shit to 17. I'm getting really strong, and I'm just realizing that, wow, I'm way better at lifting these weights than the sports that I was playing. And that's where my love for weightlifting came.
Oh, well, okay.
Because it wasn't until the tail end of high school that I actually blossomed or hit puberty. And at that point, most of the sports were over.
Yeah.
So I didn't really have time to play them with the, I guess with the me that had hair on his nuts.
Right. You became cool.
Yeah. So that's totally the truth. I mean, that work ethic that became a habit just carried into my life. And that's what's made me me.
Right.
I don't know how to do it any different, nor would I want to looking back.
All you know is balls to the walls, and that's your...
It's one speed.
Yeah.
I'm either wide open or I'm sleeping. There's not much in the middle there.
So this is something I want to ask you. You kind of... Were you always a strong... Because, I'm not naturally strong. Even if I worked up, I have to gain... It takes me a lot to gain strength. I'm not I see this one dude in the gym, bro, you're 180 pounds, you're doing squats of 405 for 12 reps. I'm like, I could barely do 3 if I even try.
Yeah.
I don't.
No, that's once I hit puberty, I got really strong.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I've been training a lot, so I think the training prior to the puberty. But I think as a junior, the tail end of my junior year, I was one of 2 kids that could squat over 400 pounds.
Wow.
At 17.
Yeah. Damn.
And so, I mean, I was one of those. Then when I got bigger, as I continued, I checked into college about 180, checked out at 260.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was one of those dudes. I'm at 260. I was a big guy.
Yeah.
But I was so much stronger than I looked.
Oh, okay.
It was people were like, man, you look strong, but whoa, where are all these extra plates coming from?
Right.
And that's what parlayed into my pro strongman career.
And I'm totally the opposite. People are like, how much you bench? I'm like, I don't bench. Do dumbbells. So I don't have a cool bench number.
Yeah,
I'll do the 120s or one. That's it. I'm like, I'm going. That's all you need.
That's just
because I'm not strong.
That's
I'm
called
not a strong
all
dude.
show no go.
Yeah, that's it. I'm all show no go.
That's it.
People are like, shut up. I'm like, all right, yeah, whatever. Believe what you want. I'm telling the truth. I'm not bullshitting right now.
Yeah, well, when it comes down to it, there's a pretty big genetic disposition to people. Some people, you just they're so much stronger than they look, and there's really no reason why. It's just the way that they're built. It's just the way that they are.
Right.
And then you got the flip side. You ever see these dudes who they're just jacked, they're yoked as hell, and then you watch them perform, you're like, what happened?
You're waiting for this thing.
Yeah. Are you still warming up?
Oh man. No, I got stronger body parts. My back is strong. My legs used to be. I don't know if age or what, but I can't really. Plus, I don't want to. I'm scared. I think I'm more nervous to get hurt than I was. 15 years ago.
Obviously training is there's a purpose. You're trained now because you want a better quality of life. You want to look good. You want to have fun. To put some unnecessary risk inside that whole thing doesn't make any sense.
And I'm over that whole
the ego lifting.
The ego lift. Yeah, I do not care. I'm like, deer lifting way more than me. I'm like,
keep up the good work.
Yeah,
keep up the good work, baby.
You're literally good job because I'm not touching that shit. Do something for me too.
Yeah. No, that's the way it is because I mean, when you have a purpose, having a purpose makes a big difference. Your purpose is not to try to lift heavy weights.
Right.
That would put your goals at risk.
Right.
If someone was trying to be a power lifter, a strongman, or something, a weightlifter, their purpose would require them to take those risks.
Right.
But then of course there's the guy that doesn't really have a purpose that ego lifts that gets hurt. That's a bummer.
And it hurts watching those guys. I'm like, but you know what? I don't. I don't judge. It's like, do your thing, man.
Yeah.
That makes you feel good.
That's it. That's it.
Then handle it.
Everybody makes their own choices.
Right.
And everybody has to live with the consequences of their actions. So
Right.
if you choose to do something like that, and God knows I can say I've been there.
Right.
You know, even though I had a purpose, I still was doing something I didn't need to do because it was going to make me feel good. And then at the end, I'm like, you dumb son of a bitch, you did it again.
After we talked about this, the rest like, who are you talking to? Myself.
That's right. Oh, I love it.
So we this is totally off our what we had planned to talk about, but I think it came out better.
It was even better. Oh, yeah,
it was even
absolutely.
better.
Well, I mean, when we do these shows, all we say is we have a topic.
Right.
But hell, we ended up started talking about how we just had to end up having a great conversation.
Yeah.
It was a fun conversation, a very revealing conversation. I think that's another thing too on that level. For anybody, I'm speaking from my own experience. Whatever your shortcomings are, own it, because those shortcomings will be something that will serve you down the road.
Yes. And what I got out of it was not only that, but the fact that to never give up.
Yeah, absolutely.
And by pushing harder, you push regardless if you didn't get that promotion at work, right? But it doesn't mean you get bitter, or doesn't mean you quit, or doesn't mean you might get the next time. Might get the next time. You showed up to practice. And
well, but the words of Arnold Schwarzenegger, we all know. You know, he is very clear in some of his motivational speeches. The difference between failure is a part of the process of being successful. You have to fail to be successful.
right,
The difference between a winner and a loser is the loser fails and quits. The winner fails, basically stands up, dusts himself off, and does it again. And he does it again until he's successful. So when it comes down to it, as long as you're trying and you're not quitting, you're going to be successful. And by Arnold Schwarzenegger's definition, you're a winner if you're continuing to try without quit.
right.
There you have it.
There it is. Bikes, barbells, and beers. God damn it.
We got to give a tip.
Oh, tip.
We got to make sure that we're good. Yeah, we're right on the money for that.
Okay.
Right on the money. Because at the end of the show, we always want to give you some sort of a. Although this whole episode was kind of good.
It was
kind of good
like,
tip
yeah.
shit. But we want to always end with something that's a takeaway that you can use in terms of helping your fitness levels. Because part of what we're doing here is we're bringing these two worlds together. So we're going to talk about most people basically have issues with low energy, and that is a very easy problem to fix. So generally speaking, people eat 3 times a day. So kind of work with me on this. So if you're eating 3 times a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, all you got to do is take some almonds or hard-boiled egg and put those between your meals, because the times between those 3 meals are too far apart. And by adding in a healthy snack between will be a game changer. Now, let's just say that you're only eating twice a day. Well, now we got to add a few more healthy snacks in. But the bottom line is this. Hard-boiled eggs or almonds, they're both great snacks. When you basically put those between your meals, say, like I said, 3 meals, now you're having 3 meals, 2 snacks. Or if you're eating 2 meals, now you're going to have 2 snacks, 2 meals, 3 snacks, and 2 meals. But if you eat more frequently on just these little healthy snacks, you'll know literally in a couple of days, you'll feel the difference.
Right.
We did a live once.
Yeah, we did live, yeah.
We threw it out there, and a lot of people were happily surprised. And it doesn't have to be difficult. I know hard-boiled eggs sounds like a little bit more of a chore, but now you can get these suckers already peeled and boiled in a little sack. Or if that's too much of a task, just about every gas station on the planet, you can get basically these little tubes of almonds. You just tear the top off. There's 2 servings. Boom, pour it in your mouth, and you're done.
And it works.
Yeah. And so try to avoid the sweet flavors. Your salt is not a problem. The salty flavors are fine. But ultimately, literally just think about eating more frequently. Eating between your meals. If you're only eating once a day, well, now you got to have multiple snacks. If you get yourself to your eating 4 times per day, that'll make a big difference. If you want to make sure you're going to get the energy, go to 5. But remember, it's not difficult. You're talking about tearing the top off some almonds, putting them in your mouth, chewing them down, and they taste good.
Easy.
Yes. Now, keep in mind, almond is different than the peanut. The peanut will not do as good of a job. Funny enough, misrepresentation. Peanut is not even a goddamn nut. It's a legume. It's a bean.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Learn something new every day.
Years.
So that being said, add some frequency into your diet with some healthy snacks with almonds or hard-boiled eggs, and you will see a difference literally within a couple of days.
There it is, you guys. John, thank you.
Right on, my brother.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Bikes, Barbells, and Beers. Oh,
Got it right.
good.
Got it right, baby. Let's go.
Talk to you later.
See you next time.